My peoples. Great evening, my peoples. Not going to be on here too long. Just want to talk about something for a minute, okay? And what I want to talk about was my title. There was something that I was wrong about that I didn't see up until now. And what was that? What I was wrong about, just to cut straight into it, let me tell you what I was wrong about. I was wrong about the holiday season being kind of tight for me. You know what I mean? Behind me losing Junior, I thought that the holiday season would probably be the worst for me. And for a while it was, because it was fresh, it was new, okay? Not so much now. You see what I mean? It done gotten a little bit more different than what I thought it would be. So around the time when Junior passed, you talking about November, he passed like maybe 2 or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, then New Year's, and then the following month after that was his birthday. So for 4 months, you know what I'm saying? I say about 3. For about 3 months, 2.5, 3 months, you know, it was like a constant back to back to back thing where we were dealing with this right here with holidays and stuff like that. You know, it was just really difficult to deal with. After we got past his birthday, after we got past Junior's birthday, I said, okay, it's a little break in there. We can start, you know, putting ourselves back together. That's what I thought. We start putting ourselves back together. So I get on this path, I get on this journey and everything, and for a while it was working. And it still works. I'm not going to lie, it still works. But the more and more I go inside this stuff, the more difficult I see it getting. Because when I look at this now, it might be a little bit more difficult than it was around those holidays. See, the holiday season, when the holiday season came around, that right there was just one day, man. It was just one day, you know, for whatever time it was at that time. Now, when you fast forward and you coming back around to the springtime, to the summertime and stuff like that, it's like all this stuff starts all over again. It hits you all over again. Because now, you know, when you think that you good, in some cases you might be all right, but the spots where you thought you've covered the base is going to uncover again. Because what happens is you're going to start going places, and this is what happened to me. Start going places, man. And the places that I will go, it's places typically that we will all go together, Junior included, quite obviously, places that we would take him and his sister and stuff like that. So now you got to turn around and go back to these same places at times, okay? You got to go back to these same places at times. And when you go back to some of these same places at times, it does not seem the same no more. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. Everything is different. It's going to be different. You know, I go to the park, I see the kids running out toward the park. It's just like you won't see what you are used to seeing, because when you see him this time, it won't be with these eyes when you at the park. I see him all the time. We at the park. See him all the time playing with his sister. He gonna play with his sister. I can see this. You understand? Just not with these eyes, but I can see this. And it's just not the same, because that right there, when you can't line up what you see with those eyes in here with these eyes right here, it does something to you. It just triggers something all over again. Again, this right here is why I tell people all the time to do the work. And this right here type of work that I'm talking about that you got to do, this right here type of work cannot just be done and you think that you got it and then you think you're going to move on to the next part of life. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You got to do this work right here. And when you do this work right here, you got to hold to it. It got to be a way of life. You know what I'm saying? And one of the examples that I used to somebody the other day ago when I was talking to him about it, says kind of like a person who works out at the gym. They get to the part of they journey where they like where their body at is nice and tight and fit and whatever it is that they like about their body. Imagine if they just stopped, if they said, hey, you know what? My body look good. My body is, and I don't have to do any more push-ups, pull-ups. I don't have to do any more squats. I don't have to jump in jacks and jump ropes. I don't have to do none of that stuff no more because my body is where I need it to be. And then you just stop doing everything. What you think happens? Your body gonna go right back to where it was. You have to keep your body toned up in order for it to keep looking the way that it look, right? Well, it's the same thing on the spirit level. You know what I'm saying? You could really work on yourself and you could work at yourself really hard. Don't forget the obstacles that you had to overcome in order for you to get to where you had to get after all that work that you had to do mentally to put yourself in a position. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you, when you don't work at that right there, it's going to come back again. It's going to come back again. It's going to come back again. And every time that it come back, you know what I'm saying? It depending on how much work you did on that area, it's either going to blow right past you or it's going to slow you up. In my case, damn near slowed me up. I ain't gonna lie to you because I'm trying to do the work and everything, not realizing that some of the spots before I'm gonna have to revisit those spots again in order to make sure that stuff stays out my system. Why? Because the other day ago, I watched a video where somebody put a collage together involving Junior, and they took a whole bunch of pictures and videos and they put it together and then they put a song on there. And just looking at it, it just came up out the blue, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, it just came up out the blue. A lot of this stuff is just coming up out the blue, but it just came up out the blue and it made me feel some type of way, right? And so, because I done did that kind of work, I was able to get past it, you know, without bringing the house down, so to say, right? But I told myself, I said, just to think that had I not did the work, then that video clip that person made of my son would have triggered me. Not triggered me in something bad, but triggered me into going back into grieving mode. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we want to do. We want to stay away from this grieving mode thing. That's what we want to do. Okay. And so I knew that if I would have seen that and not did the work, I know that I probably would have gotten triggered by that. You know what I'm saying? Which is another thing, because that right there, the triggering thing, that right there is how you're going to find out where you need to put your work at. When people ask, what do I need to work on? Sometimes people fall into this slump where they like, well, what am I going to work on? I don't know what to work on. They lost. They know they need help, but they don't know where to start they work at. Right. And so one of the things that I do to kind of like sniff that stuff out, where I need to put my work at and stuff like that, is whatever it is that's triggering. That's the best place to start for me. For me, is whatever trigger me. If it's triggering me to the point to where I can't get something done or it's going to hold me back from doing something, then that right there is a good starting point right there. Your triggers are your starting points, because now you know what you need to work on in order for you to, you know, be able to move forward. And my thing is, for what I'm going through, because of the passing of my son, what I'm going through, I'm basically just running all down mentally. I'm running all down, off, up and through there, man. I'm not even going to cut no corners, because see, You have to be mentally strong. When this right here is what really it boils down to. It really boils down to you being mentally strong. You have to be. There is no other way. There is no other way. You have to be mentally strong to go through this. I'm trying to tell you, you have to be mentally strong to go through this right here. And so in order for you to do that right there, for me, in order for me to do it, what I do is I tend to look at the worst of the worst, man. I deep dive, and so what I do by looking at or listening to some of the worst stuff, it actually strengthens you. That's what it does. Cause I'm going to tell you something. Whenever I start feeling grief, I'm at the point now for myself that whenever I start feeling grief, I always get this angel guide or soul guide. I don't know who this is, but they always come around, and what they gonna tell me is I'm doing this stuff to myself again. And it's like I already know this stuff right here is about to come. I know what you about to say. I know you, and you gonna tell me at a time when I don't want to hear it. But I know it's for my own greater good. And that right there is the part right there. That's part of where the work come in at too, man. That's part of where the work come in at too. Because my angel guide or spirit guide or soul guide, whatever you want to call it, they already know that I know. And so when I put myself back in that position where I'm grieving, they steady looking at me like, man, what is you doing? Can you believe that, y'all? That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about, that it be looking at me, hey, what are you doing? Man, I'm crying over my son. For what? Well, my son gone, man. What you mean for what? You know he ain't gone. No, you know where he at. You know that what you just seen wasn't. Man, listen, I'm trying to listen. What are you doing to yourself? Haven't we been down this road before? This is the type of stuff that the spirit guide tell you. All this stuff that whoever it is that tell you that these people supposed to be nice to you and all this other stuff. No, it ain't. No, not mine. Not mine. Now, that might be a different type of guide. Who knows? Nonetheless, in this process right here, what I'm talking about right here, you pretty much, for me, I train myself. I'm digging in so deep to the point to where it's like, you won't be able to say nothing to me, because believe it or not, you got people out here that will try to use what happened to my son against me. And then that right there is really going to tell how much work you really done. Because some people are going, at some point in time, somebody's going to try me and they're going to use my son as a triggering point. You see what I'm saying? And don't ask me how I know this right here. I just know it. Trust me, I just know it. Don't ask me how I know. I just know it. I can see ahead. At some point in time, before I leave this earth, somebody is going to say or do something that's going to try to trigger me using my son. And this right here is the reason why I do the work. So if it ever came down to that point, you're not going to get me that way either. Nope. You're not going to get me that way either. You know what I mean? And keep your eyes open for the doors that can open up for that to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been keeping my eyes open. I've been seeing certain stuff, man. It's certain stuff that when you supposed to be in a certain spot in your life, there's going to be powers put in place to make sure that you stay there. Okay? Point in case, when I felt like I wanted to talk to somebody, if I picked up that phone to call you, it was a reason why you didn't answer that phone. Do you get what I'm saying? A higher power made it to where you have to sit in this. I'm not done with you. It might have felt like it gotten a little lighter. It may have felt like it got a little easier, but I'm not done with you. It's more. It's more. And that's the reason why that's the reason why I always say do the work, because, and this right here is something got to be a way of life. It got to be happening over and over and over and over. It's going to keep on happening. You got to keep on working at this right here until you get it. And it sucks. It really does. It sucks. Because you're going to have to live out the rest of your life like this until you get it. Now, here's the thing. Some of this stuff right here, I know. A lot of it I know, right? And even with me knowing this, I still fall into my grieving stages. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I still fall inside my grieving stages. You know what I'm saying? When my son left, it was a version of me that left with it that I don't think may ever return. I'm not even going to cut no corners. There's a version of me that some people might not never get back. And I'm just being honest with you. Because this right here requires so much work. You don't have that kind of time. You don't have that type of energy to spend it somewhere else. So, hey, it is what it is, man. And even like, I'm kind of like sideways thinking my birthday too. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to dedicate my birthday to Junior. I really did. But I don't know. I don't know, which way to go by starting that right there, man. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do that right there, this is what I'm talking about, what the Spirit gonna do to you. It's gonna tell you, you gotta think about this right here. If I do this right here, is that something that I'm gonna continue on to do? Is that something that need to be continued on to be done? Is I'm adding another memory in my memory bank for me to grieve on by doing this? You see what I'm saying? This is the stuff that you got to think about before you do this. You know what I'm saying? Because here go the thing. The thing is, the more attached you are, the more, mentally disabled you're going to be when stuff like this happen. But when you're trying to, go through a sense of detachment, and you steady bringing up certain events, and you are attaching yourself to more of what you're trying to detach yourself from so you can get better. I don't know if that came out right, y'all. I don't know if I said that right. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much what it is. So in other words, basically what I will be doing, and I'm saying this right here ahead of time because I still more than likely going to go through with it. If I create an event to where I celebrate my son on my birthday, then if I'm not careful with that, what will happen is I will create another memory for me to be attached to, which could easily fall me back into grief stages. Do you understand? And that's something that I'm doing on my own. That's something that I'm creating on my own. And this right here is the reason why the Spirit guide always come to me and say, what are you doing? Because a lot of this stuff right here that you do, you're doing it because you want to do it. A lot of people might not feel that, and you got some people that might not understand that, but a lot of this stuff that you are doing is because you want to do it. And if that's not the case, then tell me what outside force is forcing you to do whatever it is that you are doing that's keeping you in grief mode. What is it that's keeping you listening to these sad songs, the looking at the sad movies? What's keeping you from looking at all the sad videos and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? What's doing that? What outside force is doing that? There isn't an outside force doing that. It's you. And that's hard to listen to when you're grieving. So when you're grieving, and that's hard to listen to, and that Spirit come in and it tell you that right there, what do you think that does to you? Do you think that make your energy go up or go down? And when that energy go down, guess what? When you finally come back up, that same amount of force that pulled you down won't be able to do that. It's going to have to take something stronger to pull you down. They ain't going to be able to use that same force that they used before to pull you down. You understand? And so because you can't use that same force, to pull you down, that right there in and of itself gonna let you know that you got stronger. The thing of it is, like I said, you got to keep on going at it. You got to keep on going at it, for real. You got to keep on going at it, because I thought I swear to God, I thought everything was good. When I get done with this video, I'm gonna post that video that I told y'all about, that somebody did a collage, like a video collage or something. Like, I'm not mad at it or anything. Let's get that right there straight right now. I'm not mad at that or anything. Somebody did a collage of my son. I'm not mad at that at all. The point that I'm trying to make is, when I thought I did the work and I seen that right there, it touched me some type of way. You know what I'm saying? It made me feel some type of way. Not bad though. It wasn't a bad thing. It was like, it almost brought me back to the grief, stages almost again. And it's like, man, I thought I had already been through that. I thought I had already been down that road. I thought I already did this already. But I'm telling you, it's going to keep on coming back. And so that's why it's a constant thing that you work on. That's why it's so, constant, that you work on this thing consistently. I'm sorry. That's why it's so imperative that you work on this thing consistently, and don't let up. Don't let up, because when you start letting up, then what happens is you start idling, your mind get idle, and then now you go into stuff that you don't want to think about. And then it's left up to you to try to erase what you just made yourself think about. Man, it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, man, it sucks. And then you got to go back and you still, like I was saying, like, even though the holiday part is over with, it's still other stuff that outride them holidays. You know what I'm saying? Every time you go to that park where y'all used to go, you can't go to a different park. Y'all always went to, you done took them to all the parks. So it don't matter what park you go to, at some point in time, you're going to see that child there. You know what I'm saying? You go out and you try to have you a nice time and take the kids out or whatever to the park, and just so they can have fun and stuff like that. It don't stop, because you're going to look at that scene and you're going to say, oh man, Junior would have loved that right there. He'd have loved to do that. He'd have loved to be here catching fish. This right here was a season right here that me and Junior was supposed to went out there and just knock them out. Just knock the fishing thing out the park. Cause I was going to take him somewhere where he was just going to love it. He was just going to love it. But he not here. And where I was going to take him at, when I went, I wasn't catching nothing anyway. You know what I'm saying? But if he was here, I'd be catching him though, for real. And though, and even though, I still try to, even though this right here has went on, I still try to go to the spots where we would go fishing at. I still try to go to, different places and try to maintain me, you know what I'm saying, without the grief and all that other stuff. But I'm telling you, man, that right there is really tight. That is tight. That is tight. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, that's tight. On the 9th of this month, I'll be 7 months in. I ain't seen my boy in 7 months. And to look at this right here on video, to look at it anywhere, and then have to go back and then visit some of these places that you always went to with them over the summer. Now, this right here is over the summer, because you ain't going to stay in the house all summer long. Now, I look at, if I'm just, for me, for instance, if I'm sitting on my front porch, I'm looking at my daughter ride Junior bike that he used to ride, that he taught himself how to ride the bike on. She ride his bike. And then they had like this little Escalade, power wheel that they got from my dad. Just last summer, her and Junior was riding in that, Escalade, in that power wheel Escalade. Now this year, come around, it's just her and her niece, and my daughter, she not, she riding the bike up and down the street by herself. You know what I'm saying? Junior never got a chance to see her ride the two-wheel while he was here. You know what I'm saying? He never got a chance to see that. He was only able to help her when he wasn't here. And I knew that right there. You just have to be on that level to understand what I'm talking about, man. I don't want to keep on going too far inside this right here, because I sound crazy to me, but I don't sound crazy to me. but it's going to sound crazy to y'all for what I'm saying. I don't have the words to put them together right now. Okay. But I'm going to tell you this right here. Back to my original reason for why I started this video. Going through this summer and going through the tail ends of spring into the summer, I don't see it being lighter. I don't see it being a lighter load versus what it was before. I really don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but it hasn't gotten, the load doesn't get lighter. It seemed like it might get a little bit more heavier, because y'all don't know. And that right there is just basically some of the things that's just left behind. You know what I'm saying? Like his bike, his power wheel, his fishing rods. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like that right there that's left behind that you gonna run past, and it depending on where your work is, man. Depending on where you do your work, that is gonna determine how you take that, man. But all that right there stuff, man, it just ain't went nowhere, man. I don't care how much stuff we done got rid of. We done got rid of some of the toys that he had. We done got rid of his clothes and stuff like that. See, that's the stuff that you got to be ready for. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't want to sit on that right there too long. Clothes and toys and, different type of memories. The main thing to do is you have to detach. That's just the bottom line for it, man. You're going to have to detach. And if you can, I ain't saying don't love these people, but if you can, you're going to have to detach not only from what's already gone, but you're going to have to make a detachment from what's already here as well. Not to the point to where, like I said, you hate somebody, but to where you would be able to at least breathe if something was to happen to that person. I'm telling y'all, that right there is tight. It's tight. You know what I'm saying? Now, these past couple days, I don't know what happened these past couple days. Something happened. I don't know what happened, but I have not been feeling anxiety like I have been. These past couple days, the end of the month of May, the beginning of June, shoot, I've been feeling all right. Shoot, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was getting sleep at one point in time. I didn't get much sleep last night, but I was getting sleep for the past maybe 2-3 days and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like a shift that takes place, after so long of this right here. It's a shift that'll take place. You will feel it in the inside of you, and it's gonna feel like it's pulling at you, like it's draining at you, man. Man, I'm telling you, man, it make you feel like crap. Make you feel like crap, man. I ain't playing. And if you're not strong enough to do this right here, man, if you're not strong enough to do this, I promise you this, it will make you want to do yourself. I'm not playing. This stuff right here will make you want to just end it all. I ain't gonna lie to you. It make you want to just end it all, man. I hope y'all don't never lose one of y'all kids. That is the hurtingest thing ever. And it don't go away. It just lingers around, and you just find better coping mechanisms just to deal with it. It sucks. It really sucks. And when you're going through it by yourself, that really sucks too. I recommend it that way, but it sucks. There is nothing good that comes out of this right here that can make you feel good enough to get back to wherever you was before any of this stuff right here happened. And you just say, dang, only thing you had to do is just stop at the light, man. You took my little boy. You done stop at the light. You could have went on your drunken then, you could have went on your drunken way, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now my son gone. All the plans that we had gone. Whatever it was I thought that I was about to do just stopped. And it stopped right now. It didn't give me a choice on, whether or not I wanted to wait until tomorrow or next week. it stopped right then and there. And I had to learn everything from right then and there moving forward. You know what I'm saying? With no blueprint, no guidance, no nothing. And the support that you would get from certain people, because I had a lot of support. It was some people that you expected the support from that did not show up, that you just knew would probably, look out for you. You know what I'm saying? Because believe you me, I done been in situations. This is when I learned to shut up. This is when I learned to shut up. I learned to shut up when I started seeing other people lose their siblings. When I started, this right here was long before I lost my son. I used to watch other people lose their siblings. I watched other people lose their parents and everything else. And you know where I was? I was right there by their side. I was right there by their side. And you know what I said? Absolutely nothing. Because that's not what they needed at that time. They didn't need nobody at their side to be sitting up there talking to them. They just needed somebody just to be there. You didn't have to say nothing, because there was nothing at that time. When I'm looking at somebody about to bury their parent or someone close to them like that right there, I realized at that time that there was nothing that I could say that's going to bring these people back. There's nothing I can say to make these people feel better that's going through this. So therefore, the only thing I could do is sit right here and just be a listening ear. Not put my 2 cents in and just sit right there just so they can have somebody in their presence with them. You know what I'm saying? And believe you me, just that alone helped out some people. But you know what? When that shoe was on the other foot, I didn't hear from those people then. Some of them I didn't hear from. I didn't hear from them. And that right there is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So you don't feel that way like that right there. You do this stuff by yourself. You don't depend on nobody to come through and give you no hand. You don't depend on nobody to come through and pat you on the back. You don't depend on none of that right there. You get yourself as solid as you can. As solid as you can. I know I ain't got no window open in here. I just felt a cold breeze come by me. And as solid as you can. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and when you do that by yourself and you get as solid as you can, then hey, you ain't have to worry about walking with nobody else. You don't have to worry about nobody come pat you on the back. You don't have to worry about none of that stuff no more. You don't have to worry about none of it. None of it. None of it. You understand? Because you done did the work. And then when it started coming back up, when stuff started happening and stuff started coming back up, you gonna know exactly what to do to work at again. But again, it's gonna take practice. It's gonna take more. It's more and more and more and more and more. More and more and more and more and more. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, going to these parks and stuff and doing the stuff that I like to do, that I shared with him. When you go to do those, it make you almost like, really for real, you damn near got to force yourself to do it. You damn near got to force yourself. It damn near make you feel like you don't want to do it. I'm telling you, man, this stuff right here, it just drains you, man. It pulls you. It pulls all kind of strength from you, man. It does. And at times it give it back to you, though. But it takes so much, man. It take a lot of air out you, man. It take a lot of air. And then especially after you done start daydreaming and stuff like that. Remember I told you that's how you can get in touch with them? By daydreaming. Man, you daydream, man. As soon as you get in contact with them and everything is everything and you good, guess what? Somebody say, hey, and they tap you and they pull you away from that. And when they did that, that brought you right back to reality. That said, wait a minute, he's not in this room. He dead. That's what you would think. He dead. And you say, no, he's not dead. Yeah. And this right here, he's dead. He gone. He ain't coming back. That's done. That's done. And you know that. That's the part that sucks. The part that sucks is that on the physical part, you knowing that your child is gone and that they not never coming back. That part is what eats at you, man. At least it eat at me. It eat at me. The fact that, that you wasn't there. It depends on whatever the situation was. It depends. It make you feel like, man, like you couldn't protect your child. You ever lost your child, man? It make you feel like you couldn't protect them. And that made me feel some type of way. My son getting into a car accident, man, or a car wreck and shit. Here I am, half hour away with the pedal to the metal, and I'm still a half hour away. Just felt just powerless. You know what I'm saying? Defeated, flunked. You know what I'm saying? All type of stuff go through your mind, man. When you put your best foot forward for your child and you never get a chance to see what that child gonna become, that shit rips at you. Excuse my language, but that rips at you, man. That rips at you because I put my best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? More than protective. And it still wasn't enough to keep them. It still wasn't enough. It sucks. It sucks. All that work that you had to put in, man. All the time spent. All the teaching. All of everything. Everything that you seen that this boy was about to learn. All the stuff that he knew. Everything. Just freaking stopped. Just like that. And then you are left to have to figure this out. And even though you might have good answers, you might have good reasons for why stuff happened, sometimes it makes sense, man. Sometimes it don't. A lot of times you got to make this stuff make sense. You got to. You got to pay attention to certain things that you wasn't paying attention to. You have to be careful for wandering minds. You have to still be mindful that you got other people that depend on your strength as well. As well as you holding up on your own strength. You gotta know that there's people that and so you can't fold. That's crazy. You gonna stand in this? You gonna stand in this? And you gonna stand in this right here and you better not fold. I tell you that. And don't that suck? Hey, you better not fold. Because see, when you fold, it's a lot of stuff that fold behind that. You recognize that. And that's the reason why you hold on. You don't just hold on just for your sanity. You holding on for everybody else's sanity that's around you. You know what I'm saying? Period. Point blank, period. It's a whole lot of people that hold their sanity because you hold your sanity. But that is really difficult to do. That is a very difficult task to do. But that's what I want to talk about today, y'all. That's all I want to talk about. The difficulty level, it goes up and down. That difficulty level, it goes up and down, man. It does. But I don't want to hold y'all too long. I want y'all to have a good day. I want y'all to pick up the phone and call your child. Tell them that you're all right. You know what I mean? Tell them they're all right. Just chit chat with them. My kids come through, they see me. chop it up and everything then. But something about them young kids, man. Something about them young kids. Them jokers, man, they're anchor. They're anchor. Anyway, man, I'm going to get on up off this thing. Go over there and check me out. Hey Uncle Ronnie on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, comment, so we can keep a good algorithm going on this stuff. Y'all help me out with that right there. Go over there, like, share, and subscribe, comment. You know, feel free to share this video to anybody that y'all think it'll help. And like I said, man, I'm just on the journey, man, a day at a time. That's the only thing it is, man. I be trying to get away from that type of lingo. It ain't funny. But it's a different type of lingo that come later on in life after you done lost somebody that was close to you like that. But again, hey Uncle Ronnie, YouTube, like, share, subscribe, and I'll just get with y'all a little later on.